Ready? Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I am actually going to be doing a little interview with Josh because a lot of you guys have reached out to me talking about how you don't have a degree or you went the non-traditional route into programming and you're curious as to what you can do with that or without a degree. And Josh has done that, and he has been and still is very successful. So yeah, this is kind of be an interview about that. Why did you want to become a programmer, first of all?
Yeah, actually, I never intentionally set out to be a developer or make that my craft. It was actually my brother came to me with an idea for a business, and I knew that in order to develop this idea I would have to learn how to program. And so that's when the journey to start consuming content and trying to teach myself this skill started. So in long story short, it was to try and produce an idea for a business.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and so what was your reason for not attending college?
Again, I think it goes back to the fact that I wasn't trying to make programming my craft. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to make a career out of it. I was actually just trying to learn what I needed to know so that I could build this software product and we could turn it into a business, right? Maybe I'd hire a smarter engineer. Well, the thing is, through the course that I actually fell in love with programming and the craft itself, and so the 4-year route actually seemed too long for me. I wanted to create things immediately, and I wanted to do it to create businesses, and so waiting 4 years to be able to do that just in my head didn't make sense and didn't appeal to me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
4 years is a really long time.
Yeah, I was already super impatient, you know what I mean? I didn't want to wait 6 months to learn how to program, let alone having to go through a 4-year process to try and learn that craft. I've always been a believer that you could pretty much learn anything you want on your own if you're self-motivated enough and determined. So I kind of took that with programming too. So I was like, I could teach myself this, you know?
I can definitely attest he's very self-motivated. All right, another question is, how did you get your first job? So this is a question that people ask me about, how do they get a job if they don't have a degree?
Yeah.
And I love your story behind this, so I would love it for you guys to hear it as well.
Okay, so just kind of as a forethought, when you're trying to get a job as a programmer and you don't have a degree, the only thing you have is your actual experience or your ability to produce. So because I had no degree and no experience, I decided to offer my service to a company for free, and I ended up working
for free.
So I worked full-time at a company for almost a year for free. And that, can I give a little bit of story about why I did that too?
Yeah, and tell them what the company was as well.
Yeah, so it was a game development company. They were trying to actually build a replica game of Candy Crush, if you guys know what that is.
Right.
And I wasn't the front-end developer. I actually was focused primarily on the back-end API. I didn't touch anything on the front end, besides building the integration services between the app and the API. And I did a lot, and I managed their infrastructure and servers and stuff too. But the reason why I actually ended up going to work with somebody else and seeking out that experience was because when I went off on my journey to say, oh, I want to learn how to program, I realized, dang, this is hard, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going down a bunch of bunny trails. I don't feel like I'm making progress. And so I was like, I need to get around people that are way smarter than I am, that I can learn under and get really valuable experience so that I can really learn this craft and know how to build products.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to know how to build products. I didn't want to just know how to write JavaScript. I wanted to know what an entire stack was, from the database to the front end, because that was my goal. So I needed to get around people way smarter than me.
It's true. That's so true.
The only way they'd let me was by working for free, so that's what I did.
And what are you doing now? Because clearly you are not at that game startup anymore. No. So what are you doing now?
I actually own a software engineering company, so we build mobile apps and web applications for different clients as well as enterprises. So we work with startups and enterprises and actual just individuals.
And you're making a living?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he has no degree. He's worked at a couple different companies programming, and now he owns his own company. Programming of like programmers.
Yeah.
And I actually work with him.
Yeah.
Which is great. So what advice would you give someone who doesn't have a degree out there? So somebody who's saying, oh, I can't do it because I don't have a degree, if they're getting hung up on that, because sometimes that can be a mental block.
Yeah.
It's a very real thing. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
So what would you tell them?
There's a few things. One, get experience under your belt as aggressively as you can. That's going to be everything. Know your craft, work very hard. And I would actually say target agencies or even startups as your first opportunity. Normally, smaller startups or agencies don't have all these predefined requirements. They're just looking for good talent that are kind of people that are willing to hustle. So that's kind of the target I would go after if you don't have a lot of experience and maybe you don't have a degree. They're more likely to open up the door. Be willing to just work. I mean, if you got to work for free, I know not everybody can do that. But if you got to work for free, it's an investment. If you get that experience, then it'll open up the door to many things. It's
kind of like going to school, except you're not paying anything.
Yeah, no, it is true.
One way of looking at it.
Because school you have to pay
money.
To be there
you either pay it or you take loans out, so you're going negative, while you're, learning this, when you could actually learn on the job for free, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of times if you do that and you're like around the people that are, well versed in programming, they're going to teach you something and potentially they could hire you.
Yeah, that's actually what ended up happening. Is after I had been there for a while, I was the lead back-end developer at that point, and that doesn't say a ton because I was the only back-end developer there, right? But then they ended up paying me. I actually got hired, and then I moved to Orlando to work with another startup here. But goes into my second point, is your network. Both times the doors were open through people that I knew. If you don't have a network or you don't know anybody that works at companies that may have a job for you, then you need to find and seek out those people. And there's really no excuse not to, because you really have meetups that you're going to meet tons of cool people. That's the best way to do it. Like even when I moved out of that company to another startup, if I didn't know him really well, I probably wouldn't even got that opportunity. But it ended up working out well. So work really hard, know your craft. You got to be more aggressive naturally and more scrappy.
Yeah.
Even if it's working for free or working for a discounted rate. Target agencies and startups, and then grow your network. Find people that might know of somebody or are working at a company that you could potentially work at. Those are definitely the things I would say if you're trying to break into the industry.
And reach out to people online too. It doesn't hurt. Social media is great for that nowadays, especially maybe if you're in a different country and you don't have as many opportunities. Find people on social media or go on, that's a totally different video. But there's so many sites you can go to. I will make a video on that, don't worry, maybe that's my next one. But that'll give you a bunch of different sites you can actually go to get paid freelancing jobs. Yeah, because that's what's so beautiful about software, is you just need an internet connection and a computer in order to do your job. You're not limited by space, or location. Yeah, so to end this video here, this is Josh. He has no degree. This is me, Brandy. I have a degree. He's a far better programmer than me, which is what it is, but you don't need a degree to be successful in the tech industry, especially nowadays if you are willing to put in the work and the effort. Yeah. Learn aggressively, and if this is something you really want to do, the investment of whatever you got to do to break in is going to be well worth it, and you won't even think about it once you kind of get over that hurdle. Yeah. So that is our video about what it actually looks like to not have a degree, and I think he looks pretty good. Feel free to reach out to me too if you guys have any other questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yep, I'll link his social in the description below. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up, and we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. There's a lot of great content on there and more to come. Yeah. Thank you guys.